Okay, so thanks everyone for being here. I do think we all know each other, as Allison pointed out, so I don't think we need to go through introductions. So on our agenda today, it's pretty short. We're going to review a implementation application for JCPRD's Kids Triathlon. And then if there are any group updates to share, we'll go ahead and do those. As for the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative, we have a few things we'd like to share with our sector members. One being our quarterly meeting, which is December 5th. And then we need to discuss our next meeting because the next one that's supposed to be scheduled is actually on Christmas. So we need to discuss a December meeting or just waiting until January. But on that note, let me go ahead and pull up this application. I actually already have it ready to go. And then Katie, what you will do since you were submitted this is you will just give us a brief rundown of what this application is for. And then what strategies and tactics it supports, the system level. So we'll just pretty much go straight down through each topic area. And then I think maybe after you're done explaining this application to us, we'll go ahead and address any questions or concerns we may have. Okay, cool. Let me zoom in. It's on page. Okay, so whenever you're ready, take it away.
Sure. So, after, gosh, what year were we? So we just hit 2024. So JCPRD has had a kids triathlon since 2014. In 2014, we partnered with Hy-Vee, to produce a youth triathlon and then kind of took over on our own. So next year will be full on 11th year on our own with that. And inside of the kids triathlon, we see consistent participation each year. That's grown every year, which has been fabulous for us. But we've kind of seen a need for additional training. Parents always ask, what can we do leading up to it? What can we do after it? How can we continue to stay involved in the sport? Because it's not a sport that you can just go out and kind of do willy-nilly. Not to quote my parents on saying willy-nilly. Now I've said it twice in this meeting, so I'm glad this is being recorded. But we started a youth triathlon camp program a few years back, and that's been really popular with us. So it's kind of a no-brainer for us to try to start a youth tri team. As many people know or don't know for that fact, we sit in an activity center here at Mill Creek. And lots of people say, like, this is what my tax dollars are going for. Well, not necessarily. Like, tax dollars within JCPRD are strictly for the park side. So any recreation programs are all feed funded. So our hope with applying for a grant through you guys and through any other grants that we apply for is to keep those costs low for participants, especially for a new program that we're, kind of starting from the base up. We do have a small fitness facility here, but we don't have a ton of the equipment that we're going to need. So that's kind of our hope with this. And just with the program in general, there is one really super small triathlon team that is within the metro for youth right now, and they just do kind of a free meetup on Sunday afternoons. Our hope with this program is to, throughout the summer, we're going to provide 3 days a week training for these athletes. And really it's, kind of 18 and under for the youth triathlon team. If your kid's 4 and they can swim the length of the pool, then great, they can be on the team. So we're super excited to be able to offer that really to anyone. Right now, our coaching team is myself and one other coach, which makes it a little bit challenging. So we're expecting it to be super busy. But yeah, so that's kind of the summary of what really we're trying to do. Our hefty goal was to kick it off in fall. And we had like a quick 2-week turnaround and everybody here was super excited about it. And then, Jen, you're in Parks and Rec, like I can, I say, I'm like, we get really excited about things, right? And then we're like, oh my God, we only have 2 weeks to make this happen. So we kind of tamed ourselves a little bit and said, you know what, we're going to go full force. We're not going to try to do our coaching training alongside the program. We're going to do it prior to, make sure that we have all of that under our belts. We're going to throw it into spring. So spring will start kind of a 1 to 2 day a week program where kids can kind of come and go and figure out like a few of the different aspects of triathlon. Summer will hit really hard with, like I said, 3 days a week. Those kids are going to be swimming and biking and running in all different facilities. So kind of to marry this into the second portion on here, so the strategies and tactics, with it's basically a grassroots program. You know, we have done a really wonderful job. JCPRD has done a really wonderful job just with the kids try in general. But you know, as adults, right? Like we stay consistently involved in what we like to do. And so that's the same person coming back repeatedly over and over. With the kids try, those kids age out. And so it's constantly a new kid coming on board and onboarding them and getting them excited about it and keeping them involved in the sport, which luckily, you know, will increase the participation in triathlon in general and hopefully bleed into the adult sector. But, you know, we're really kind of starting it from the ground up because these kids, they don't really know what they're in for with it, right? Like they've done the camp for 5 days or 4 days or whatever camp they've been to, and then maybe they've done the triathlon, but that's kind of it. So they don't really have a lot of familiarity with what it's going to look like. So it is them figuring it out and us figuring it out too. A big focus. So the other coach that we work with, his name is Josh, and he is a public speaker as well. He does a lot on mental health and really just like doing away with the stigma behind that. You know, as soon as you say mental health, I feel like some people kind of freeze up, and we don't want folks to do that. We want them to understand that it's okay. It's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to have a bad day. But here are some tactics and some different things that you can use to kind of make those things a little bit better. And so he's going to bring not only his coaching side of things, but also his life coaching, right, to the forefront in this. And we want kids to not only enjoy the sport but understand what it can do for your mental health and for the rest of your life. Like this can be a lifelong sport that you can get into, and you can do a lot of things through just sport in general. So our plan is to use funds in order to be fully certified through USA Triathlon. So they have an immersive program, which is not budget conducive for us right now, starting a grassroots program. And so that's, you know, our goal is to go through that. I'm currently certified as a USAT race director. And so a little bit of those things blend together, but there's a lot of, and Allison can attest to this. You know, I have made our team go through safe sport training. You guys are all familiar with what happened with the gymnastics Olympics team and all of those things. And so USA, just overall sports, whether it be track or gymnastics or triathlon, whatever it may be, is really in a big push right now to make sure that anybody and everybody that's involved in any type of youth programming is safe sport trained, and they understand the implications, they understand how to implement things, whether that be at a race or on a team or things like that. And so there's a really strict program around that we'll push through as well. And something that I'm really excited about is to not only utilize our facility here at Mill Creek Activity Center to do some of the training, but also utilize our parks. You know, we have a lot of really beautiful trails and parks and different places and spaces that we can utilize to run the program. My hope is that kiddos are bringing mom and dad and, you know, everybody else along. So yeah, that's kind of my goal with that. That's kind of hitting the strategies and tactics. Um, you know, I really feel like this, reading through everything and what would be impacted by this would be kind of the sports sector, the park and rec sector. So like I said, it's a new program that there is currently one other youth triathlon team in the metro. It's not something that is like super structured and how I would want to see it structured. So we're really excited to bring that, and yeah. Did I
Yes,
cover everything for you guys?
that was amazing. And just to like be more clear cut on the strategy and tactics involved, this does involve getting families out in the parks and utilizing those recreation resources. And then that also kind of goes back to the education side of it and the mental health side of it as well too. So, and then I know Katie did a great job on the system level for the project address. And then also hits hard on education and then getting those certifications to make sure, just like what she mentioned, coalition building, advocating for best practices and youth. And then the other really good, love this sentence, best sentence ever, advocating for youth to realize their full athletic potential and utilize sport as a path toward an active and healthy lifestyle. So it's a solid sentence right there. other sectors involved, the sports sector and the park and rec sector. But again, funding is only being asked from the park and rec sector. So, because we know that the sports sector is tapped. Next steps for this. So, Katie, for your program, like you had mentioned, this is just, it's the first year. It's just kind of the startup to help get the program going. And then afterwards, the hope is to have this kind of self-funded, just like all of our other recreation programs that are enterprise based. So,
Fingers crossed, yes. So the training certification is pretty high. Like I said, it's a really immersive program, which is fabulous. But that's kind of a cost that we're coming up against where we don't want to have to raise costs on kiddos, especially the, first and second year when you're kicking something off. If you have only a few kids, you don't want to have to increase their costs to where it becomes obviously cost prohibitive. So we're trying to supplement the cost of training, and then that is just kind of a maintenance thing after that.
love it. And then you guys are requesting 2,500 currently, and it is the JC Purdy requesting it. So I don't have questions just because I'm a part of it and I feel like I can't vote on this because it's conflict of interest, although I want to give all the votes because I love it. Not just because Katie's across the hall from me and could throw something at me. But just
Throw really hard.
yeah, just the initiative and the support around it. And there's clearly a need in this area, so we're excited. So Jen or Katie, I guess, do you guys have any other questions? Katie E, not Katie R.
You might have mentioned it and I missed it, but how many kids does this program serve? Or do you anticipate it serving?
So our hope is I'm expecting that kind of our off season. So we're going to kick off obviously in the spring, and then we'll roll into fall and winter as well. I think those numbers will probably be fewer, but I would expect anywhere from 20 to 30 kiddos in the off season, and then easily 50 to maybe 100. We have a committee that also assists with our youth triathlon. So just the 1-day event, but some of those committee members are pretty dedicated athletes as well, and they're willing to get trained to be able to help support from a coaching perspective. So hopefully this year between 50 and 100 kids. I know that's probably a pretty wide range, but throughout the summer we've had quite a bit of interest. And we gauged interest after our race last year in August. I guess not last year, but this past year in August, and there was a high demand for it. So I think summer will be pretty big, minimum 50.
And then that's also to note, the kids that this group reaches, like, got families coming up from Lawrence and other surrounding small communities just to do the triathlon camp. And then, Katie, how many states did you guys have come out for the actual kids try in August?
So we serve at like 9 or 10 different states for that race in August. And then as a side note, so USA Triathlon's doing a big push right now, especially for high school kids, because it's been a newly introduced sport into NCAA. So there's very few teams right now, NCAA teams, but there is that opportunity for them to expand into that, and there's lots of scholarships available. So they have a big push behind the high school side of things, which I feel like I can absolutely get help from them on. But it's the capturing those younger kiddos now. So our population of like 6 to 10-year-olds that come out to our race is easily 65-70% of what our race is, which is crazy to me. So we have like at least 200 kids that are under the age of 10. And if you guys have kids or, know any kids that are local, they're exploring soccer and baseball, and they're doing all of these different things. So we're excited to be able to introduce to them triathlon as well as an option for them to be able to choose from. You don't just have to do soccer. Can do this too.
Katie, how many youth triathlon teams are? I know there's a small one in the area, and there's another one down in, was it Arkansas or Oklahoma that comes up for the race? So
yeah, so
there's not many.
There's not a ton of youth triathlon teams. A lot of youth triathlon teams are kind of tacked on to an adult team. And then like the adults that are on the team kind of get their kids involved in that way. There's specifically, and Allison's talking about these two teams, or this team that comes up from Arkansas. They bring like 100 kids from Arkansas to our race. It's crazy. But they're a highly competitive team. They've kind of been anywhere and everywhere. I raced in Arkansas in late August, early September, and I was able to see another team down there that's bigger than them. And they're in the same city. So just being able to see that kind of further, pushed our idea of like, we need to do this. Like, there's absolutely a demand for it.
So I think the other goal of this program is a lot of people look to the larger agencies to see, oh, like you guys made it work. Hey, help us
Yeah.
share that program wheel so we can get this going into our community. And so that's just going to be continuing education across the state to help other communities. Like, hey, this is what we did. You can also do this too in your community. So that's kind of the hope, just to help grow the sport, especially since there's a push for the scholarships and the high school push as well too, similar to the club teams and helping others just build up the program.
Well, and triathlon is sometimes it tends to feel like it's an individual sport, but our goal is to kind of make it more of a team sport. I was a swimmer growing up, and also coached swimming, and that too is, a very individual sport, but it can become a team sport really quickly. You're on a team, your team's cheering for you. So those are kind of some of the dynamics that we're really interested in pushing out there. If you're familiar at all with JCPRD and the Blazers, we're hopeful to take some pages out of their book and their success that they've been able to achieve. They had kids that, have been to, the Olympic trials and things. So obviously hefty goals, but something to strive for.
That was a big answer. Sorry, Jen.
20 to 30. Got it.
50 or more in the summer.
Yeah. For the funding, so you
Yeah.
were talking about training and buying equipment. Do you have any more detail into how the funding would be broken down to like kind of get this started?
Sure. So I can tell you, like I said, I was doing comparisons before even introducing this to our superintendent of recreation, and it's interesting to me. I'm not sure how many of you guys know like what building Allison works in, but we have a gymnastics team here, and so our gymnastics coaches are USA Gymnastics certified. They pay like $100 a year to get certified. So to get certified for USA Triathlon, it's 700 minimum. And then it's the upkeep of, yeah, right? So that's why I was like, oh my gosh. And Jen, you're in Park and Rec too. I was like, how am I going to make this happen when they have, USAT puts restrictions on fees for kids as well, because they want to keep it accessible and equitable. And I understand that, but it's trying to figure out where are we going to find these resources. So minimum, we're looking at anywhere from 1,400 to 1,500 just for training, just for us. And then I'm obviously paid as a full-time representative of JCPRD, but our part-time coach is not. And so in order for him to be trained, we have to pay him too. So on top of paying for the training, also paying for his staff time. So really a lot of that is going to be inside of there. Our older kids, we're expected to have anywhere from probably 10 to 15 kiddos our first year that are going to be, 11 and older, and their bikes, are able to be put on a trainer. I don't know if you guys know what a bike trainer is, but you can like hook your bike up to it. It like pops your back wheel up so that you can spin your back wheel, but you're just not going anywhere. And you can shift your gears and you can make it harder. And so our hope is to be able, through that spring training, when the weather is a little bit dicey, to kind of be able to, if not ask individuals to donate those, go out and buy some used ones that folks are selling on Facebook so that we can have a stockpile of those. So when we do bring our older kids inside for training, they're able to train inside as well, instead of them having to go out and buy that. So pieces of equipment like that are a little bit more costly is kind of what we're hoping to do with those funds. And obviously the training. Long answer for you, Jen.
Oh, that covered it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was all the questions I had.
Okay.
I don't have any. I already reviewed the application with Allison prior to this. So I think my one concern is, I'm sure with any other organization, is are you asking for enough? If certification costs that much and you're still wanting to have leftover funds for equipment such as bikes. I mean, I know a good bike costs a lot of money. Like, I'm just saying, maybe that's something that would be the only thing I'd recommend is revising it. We have the funding available.
Okay.
Ask for 5K.
That are, I mean, sorry, Jen, what?
I'd recommend 5 too.
Same.
Okay.
I would just,
And maybe just bullet out what you're gonna use that for,
Okay.
especially when like your ask is for 2,500 and over. I mean, probably 80% of that is gonna go to staff time
Yeah.
and training before you can even get any equipment. And so that just eats up almost 80 to 90% of your budget.
And the
Yeah.
staff time alone, with it being the first year, creating that curriculum, which I know that you guys already have some, but modifying it for the weekly programs, like 3 times a week, and hey, this is our goal this time. So that's going to take time for your coach to plan and get that out. So,
Okay.
and then in case there's any other hiccups that come up along the way, because that's what happens in our world. That's how it always is. Like, oh, here's an extra fee, by the way. Just kidding. So yes, I would suggest 5. So we can always update that application. And then Katie, next steps for this. Katie E, sorry, not Katie R. I just want to say like R, like a pirate. But not real hard. Katie E, next steps for this, update the application, and then do we need to present this to the sports sector since they're also on it, or we're not asking money from them?
Yeah, so no, because we're not asking money. There's been like a lot of confusion about this, but because we haven't had other sectors present when not asking for money, we're just going to continue along there. If we end up getting more funds in the future, we'll probably change the requirements. But for now, with our current available funding, no.
Okay.
Yeah. So next steps, yeah, update the application to make sure you change your budget and break it down for what you were requesting it for, such as I'm not gonna repeat myself, you know.
Sure.
So, and then after that, send it back. And we have a core work group meeting December 17th, I believe, which Katie, you don't need to be a part of. Either Allison, Jen, or myself will present it to the core work group, and that is the final approval you need for funding.
Okay.
So what they'll do is you need to have 7 points to pass. So each section is based off of different number of points. I think most of them are 3. There's a couple that might be 2. And yeah, we'll just break it down that way. We'll go through each thing on a Mentimeter and people will vote.
Okay.
Okay. So expect to hear something in December.
Okay.
That's it.
And then for the grading, should we do a mock grade now or?
Yeah, we can. So that's the Mentimeter I had created. So let me go ahead and drop the link in the chat and we can go through it so you can see how it would look during the core work group meeting.
Okay.
So I will give you guys this.
Now I'm gonna vote on this one because this is just a practice one, right?
Yes, you can vote. You can vote in the core work group meeting too. I didn't know if I could the first time we started doing these or like when we did our strategies for public health, but
Yeah.
Robin told me I should be doing it. So even I have input. So
All right.
yeah. Let me pull my screen up.
It looks so tiny.
So
Okay, can everyone Oh, so you guys can't see it very well?
I can zoom in.
It's in the application.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, I zoomed in too much.
So is everyone they've accessed I don't need to keep the QR code pulled up.
I clicked the link in the chat.
Yeah, and it probably will look small if it's on your phone. I've realized this, so I don't think we need to go through the project description because we already have. I just shortened what you had included in your application, Katie.
Okay.
So it's kind of just a summary. And then yeah. And I didn't log in, so I'm probably not voting on this one, my bad. But this is what it'll look like. So the first question, if it addresses strategies and tactics, it's at most worth 3, at least worth 0. If you have more than one strategy or tactic, it's going to automatically be a 3. And then is it multi-level? This is the one where it gets tricky. A lot of people have a hard time justifying if it's more than one. Typically, we've seen a lot of applications only address the first tier, which is individual or interpersonal behavior. I think you have a good argument for organizing and advocacy based off of what you described to us. So right now as a mock-up, it would be 3 points. This is where people lose the most points too, so.
Yeah.
And then if it's cross-sectoral, you've addressed that. It does include the sports sector as well as Parks and Rec. And then are there clear next steps? So
We could
as
probably,
of right now, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Allison.
so
go
we
ahead.
could probably clean this up a little bit, just this section, and maybe do some bullet points in there. Do you think that would be better if we did that?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree. I don't think it's a bad idea, especially doing this mock trial. This is the time to get feedback and improve. So, I will say based off of what we just went through, it would pass funding, but it doesn't hurt to make sure that you've got the best application you can have. So,
Sure.
and that's it. That would be what we would do at the core work group meeting.
Cool. Looks good. All right. I will work with Katie on making those tweaks to that app, and then we can just send it back to this group, and then we can present it at the December meeting and party from there.
Sounds like a plan.
Jinx, you guys both said that. That was crazy. Sorry, little things. Oh,
It is.
all right. Well, cool. I love that. So do we move on to group updates?
Yeah, let's move on to group updates.
I'm gonna
So-
hop off.
Okay.
I just want to thank you girls for allowing me to hop on today and chat with you a little bit about this, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Katie.
Have a
you
good day,
later.
girls.
Bye.
All right, so kickoff, corporate challenge kickoff is April 11th, 4 to 8. Jen, did you get my invite for that?
We're planning on it.
Sweet. Okay, would love to have you guys. I don't really have any other updates other than that. I'm still looking for like 1 or 2 more speakers for the corporate challenge lunch and learn program. So Jen, I
Did
don't
you
know.
reach out to-
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, did you reach out to Jay about that? Or I know you guys had a brief discussion yesterday.
Yes.
Has
Yep.
he-
I had sent Jay my generic email invite, so that way it's got the sign up Genius link. So if Zach wants to come back and speak again, then we can do that. We're not offering as many sessions this year. Last year we had over like 30 or 40 sessions. Yeah, that
What
was
are
my-
these lunch and learns? It's just,
so
like, the first time hearing
basically
of it.
the lunch and learns are a perk to be signed up for corporate challenge. I'll go ahead and put the link to the website just so you guys can kind of get the vibe of what all we had last year. But basically, if you are a participating company, company coordinators can send this link out to their employees, and then their employees can go sign up for as many as these sessions as they want. It's just like employee wellness opportunities, and we try and cover all aspects of wellness. So that link I sent, so like one of the speakers did digestive health 101. We've got some educational sessions for new company coordinators, fight back against stress, cultivating well-being, natural tips for a healthy sleep, brain health, inflammation 101, preparing for a financial emergency, so financial wellness, mindfulness and boundaries in the workplace, gender identity. So we just had kind of a variety of topics, and I know that that's a lot on the website. That's not even all of them, because I've actually deleted some of them as well. If they didn't make, then I would go delete it. So, but our requirement is to have 10 people enrolled in a session before it's able to make. So gonna try and cut it back to maybe only having like 15 or 20 sessions this year. And I had a new group come on this year. I did not know that they had this, but Hy-Vee has a whole employee wellness section and a giant registered dietitian team. So they have dietitians at all their stores, and they go out and do educational sessions. They'll come out and do health and wellness screenings for a fee at your places. So they reached out to all of their dietitians in the area at their local Hy-Vees, and they are going to donate a couple sessions this year. So these are all free for participating companies. We do not pay the speakers. So the speakers are essentially donating their time, which I try and hit up some speakers, like people that I know that do free sessions, like natural grocers or different chiropractor offices. Like they always have free sessions. Some of the other like big name speakers, I got a hard time getting because they normally have a fee. I'm like, hey, you can do this now, then I can try scheduling you for a conference later. And then, or another session to where I can actually get them some paid gigs. But the other cool part is this is a great way to promote themselves to some of these companies. I've actually had some health and wellness coaches start out new and then get real big and got on with Garmin and some of the other companies. And now they are so busy with those big company contracts, they can't come back and do a session for me, which is okay. I love that they're succeeding. I love that. So it's kind of a, we help each other out system. So if you know of anyone who wants to come like do a talk on like yard safety or I don't know, tree arborists, I don't know. Wildflower
Natives?
natives. That's good. People want to know about that. Yeah.
I mean, I could always make my work bestie, Stephen Van Ryn, come back to.
He was fun.
He was fun.
He was fun. Yeah. If you want, I can forward you the sign up email. And then
Yeah, I
go
can at
send
least
it.
send it out. We have so many people that want to partner with us in some capacity as well. So it could be an opportunity for that.
Yeah,
Or
that
just
would
to
be
pass along some tried and true partnerships that we already have is what I meant.
yeah, it would be cool. Let me, I'm gonna send this to you now, Jen. Because I will forget otherwise unless I write it down.
Yeah, you reminded me of some stuff I need to do, like reach out to our internal members. And I was like, I need to start working, I guess, on that.
Oh, good. You got that, the,
Excel list.
yes.
Yeah. I need to create one for next year and start updating it and reaching out just to see who is available.
Okay. Yeah, and I've started, well, yeah, I already started sending out the invites for the kickoff party, so as long as you got that, you can tweak it to whatever you want, and we'll party from there, man. Also, just a heads up, just got this email this morning. They're no longer allowing inflatables that you can climb in or on at kickoff. So we've got multiple companies that always have giant inflatables for like
Yeah.
their employees' kids to just come party and get rowdy and like burn energy. Yeah, they're not gonna
Bouncy
allow-
castles.
Yeah, they're not gonna allow that anymore.
What's the reason?
Safety, I guess. Didn't really get one. So, which JCPRD has been away from that for, that was a thing whenever our previous director was still here. She never allowed it. Just because of the horror story of how some inflatable bounce house ended up with like 12 kids in it, like rolling down the street and
Into the water nearby of a lake. So I'm only asking because I was aware of how dangerous inflatables were prior to like coming over to Parks and Rec through my amusement park work. Because we followed a website which still exists called rideaccidents.com, and it compiles every amusement device related injury or death, and overwhelmingly it was inflatables.
I can see that.
And it mostly came from not being able to secure them or them deflating on top of people and suffocating the kids. So I can see why people think it's a safety issue.
Yeah. We had one in Lawrence when I was there. And we had to get it certified and inspected every year. And also ever since that one incident at Schlitterbahn. And then we also were very cautious and very strict on the anchoring and all that. Like, and then you had to have it staffed and you had to know who was in there and when. And like, I had to train summer camp staff on how to work the inflatable at events. Like, no, we did not joke around with that. We're very serious about it. And other people are like, what? No, just blow it up and go. I'm like,
No, they just don't think it's they just don't realize.
I get in lifeguard mode real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with
Yeah.
it. I'm just slightly worried about the other companies that really love those.
Yeah. Well, there's other things out there other than inflatables.
Oh yeah. Well, and the thing is, like, they still are going to allow the inflatables. Like, we had the basketball thing and like the throwing targets and stuff. They're going to allow that. They just don't want anything that you can climb in or on.
I mean, yeah.
That was going to be my
It really
question to
easily
you, is
become a
whether
runaway vehicle.
Yeah, pretty much. And like that concrete's not forgiving when you're bouncing off of it. Like, you don't really bounce off of it. You just
Plop onto it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you get picked up again and then just
How
nightmare.
involved, just curious, how involved is Gladstone Parks and Rec usually with kickoff? Because we've used them or partnered with them for like the Platte County Sports Commission does this event up at Zona Rosa every summer. And they typically bring out, they have synthetic ice available. So they bring the plastic ice and then we bring like the skates and let kids try that. And I was just wondering if that's ever been floated, especially like if the inflatables are not going to be available, like what else is going to be like a draw or exciting for the kids?
So we have the whole kids zone area set up. And I feel like with losing the inflatables in the kids zone is going to be even more like this year, which is cool. But I know I've got some vendors that are now like, hey, if we're bringing a whole team out and all the supplies, like we have to charge. So Buddy Pigs is wanting to get paid to come out now, but it's still cheaper than Bike Walk KC. Love Bike Walk KC and everything they do. Absolutely love what they do. So that'll be another conversation for another day, but I might have to talk to whoever our sugar daddy is at Children's Mercy to see if they can swing that or what we want to do on that. No, TBD. And yeah. So, but that's the latest updates for that. Otherwise, we're adding the Stuffy program and I'm pretty excited. So yeah, a Stuffy and story time where you get the skins of the little stuffies and then kids can come stuff the cotton in them and then that's their toy and then we'll have someone read a story matching the theme of the Stuffy. So that's like one of the more exciting things that I'm doing right now because it's new. That's why it's exciting to me.
Yeah, let me know how that one goes because we had a community center that attempted to run that program. I want to say last spring and it was similar. It was like the kids got a stuffed animal, put the little token in it, and then they got like a story, but we had to cancel because we didn't have enough enrollment. So
see, and the ones at Merriam, City of Merriam, Renee, she's gonna hop on today. She told me about her sell out every year. And they actually had to schedule more to just get people off the wait list.
Wow.
So, but we also have our gymnastics area. So we're going to do Stuffy and a story time followed by an hour of open play on the gymnastics floor.
Yeah. I think the problem, to be honest, with this community center program is they didn't have enough people coming through the door. They didn't have enough interest. They didn't outreach. It was like kind of getting back in the groove of getting that community center to be active.
That's always
So I
hard.
think we just kind of hit it at the wrong time. So
Are they
that's why
doing
I'm
like,
interested.
are they doing like any of the candy cane hunts or any of that stuff, like the little holiday programs?
Yeah, we actually have community centers that do like different things. So like that particular community center usually has a holiday party that's huge. Like the whole, like it's got, cause that the west side neighborhood of Casey Mo, like we've got, it's a huge Hispanic community. So there's Guadalupe centers over there, the Mattie Rhodes, the library, and then there's the west side community action network, and then all of their neighborhood associations. So we typically see like 500 people, kids alone, come out to that event. They're very active. But yeah, that they do have like these little things going on. But we are also trying to, so like that's our big things coming up are the mayor's Christmas, or like the mayor's Christmas tree funds, our holiday events. So we really try to, instead of having like everybody at 10 different holiday parties, we try to put all of the mayor's stuff into those 2 large parties. So yeah, there
That's
is
smart.
small little off things. They do a lot of creative things over at Tony Aguirre Community Center. And I think you have people that go to the Metro Programmers meetings, right? Surprised
Yeah,
you're
they're
not.
having one today in Baldwin.
Yeah, yeah. But my staff was complaining because they were like, it's an hour.
Well, they came down here and did Nerf with me. So
Mhm.
that was fun. Yeah, it's hard to get new programs going and then just getting the word out about it, but just like
Mhm.
kind of getting the vibe of what people want. So
Yeah.
I feel your pain on that front. I will keep an eye out though on some new things because I think that would be kind of cool just to get those going. Oh, excuse me. But yes, I can keep you posted on our stuffing and story time program and playtime. So
Sounds great.
do we have any other updates? Any other group updates?
So I do have a position that I'm posting again in the beginning of December. It's a newly created position for us, a manager of recreation position, and it oversees basically like the facility operations of our 10 community centers, and really just getting like the customer service and the consistency of, rules, SOPs, how we do things at those locations. So if you have anyone that might be interested in taking that next step, it's a management position. Obviously, it's a manager. It's officed in our parks admin building at Swope Park, and then there's driving throughout the Casey Mo community centers.
Okay.
They're going to be we are just finishing up our community centers master plan. It's like master plan city over here. So they're going to be like the main advocate for and coordinator of that plan and getting those items moved along. So if you know anyone, send them my way.
I will put some thought into that because I know I've got some other folks who are ready for that next step up. So
yeah. One thing that the reason it's being reposted is we had some incredible candidates, and unfortunately we couldn't meet their salary requirements because they were so incredible, which is great for them, but not great for us. But we had someone apply from Wichita. Her name was Angela. And she's just amazing. You know
she's
her.
so good. Yeah, she's
so
good
good.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, she's more amazing than our salary can compensate her for. So
She's
yeah.
very good. I've worked with her on some of the KRPA branches and she's amazing. So
And they just got CAPRA accredited, and she was a big part of that project push. So
she was.
we were very sad.
Yeah.
But we're trying again with a positive attitude.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
I can share that at a conference coming up here soon if it's not filled by then. I don't know. Do you have a closing date for it?
It'll probably be like the very end of the year. We won't start interviews until January.
Okay.
And it will also be posted on MPRA, and we post our positions on KRPA, obviously, because
Yeah.
we're so close. So
Okay.
just keep an eye out. The thing with KRPA though is that they need to come to our website to apply. They can't just apply through KRPA. We don't get that application. So there's
And-
instructions about that.
Okay.
I
That's
would hope
okay.
that a manager level reads through all that and follows it, but mistakes happen.
Most of those positions on the KRP website make you go to the other website to apply.
Mhm.
So that shouldn't be an issue, hopefully. Well, good. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we
And if
have,
you need like a job description or anything, we should have it posted right after Thanksgiving.
okay,
But if you happen to have someone that wants to see it, or if you want to see it, I can send it over to you.
okay. I won't because I'm gonna stay here. But I do have some other folks. So whenever that job, I get the job alerts. So whenever that comes out, I've got a list of people I can send that out and I'll shoot you some names if anyone tells me that they're gonna apply.
Nice.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Of course. So we've got the Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative December 5th, 9 to 11. I am not going to make that. I have another meeting that morning. And then
Okay.
our meeting, it was gonna be on Christmas, not anymore. When do we do that one?
I need to check my calendar, but really quick, back to the quarterly meeting. So, we do record them.
Yes.
So if you are interested in watching it afterward, if not, that's okay. If there's anybody else at your organization you would want to share it with, please have them register. As you both know, it's free. And breakfast is served. You can be a student and still come. You don't have to be like actively involved in one of our sectors, although we would prefer it. If anybody's just interested in, you guys know the spiel. I just need to say it because it's being recorded and I want everyone to know like this is free, breakfast is free, it's a great opportunity.
So I'm gonna share this with our children's services team because I feel like we've got some folks who that would tie into what they're doing. So
I'm looking in December. We can have a December meeting, but we can also wait and just do it in January. So it's the 4th. Is it the 4th or last Wednesday? I want to say they're typically the 4th Wednesday of the month. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm scatterbrained. It's usually the 4th Wednesday of the month. So
January 22nd.
yeah, if we just want to go ahead and resume in January, I know
Yeah,
it's
I
probably
think
time for everybody. So, okay, we
I
can just in
support
the
that.
meantime, if there's anything that we need to communicate or coordinate with, we could just email.
That works. Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
I'm happy with that. I will update our Outlook invitations because I think it ended in December. So
Yes.
okay,
Cool. Thank you, Katie.
yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna stop recording and then I want to share something with you guys really quick.